Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Pocket Garden. Today, I'm going to be reading some of my favorite excerpts from the Book of Disquiet by Fernando. Pessoa. Now, I actually got into Pessoa fairly late, and by larger extension, I got into the Portuguese-speaking world of literature only within the last couple of years or so, I must admit. And it is a absolute treasure trove of literature and just amazing writing that I cannot recommend more. So I have some pages here that are dog-eared that I'm just going to be reading from. And I just want to say that I'm so excited to start this new channel and journey with y'all. And thank you so much for being here. So let's get started. Isolation has carved me in its image and likeness. The presence of another person, of any person whatsoever, instantly slows down my thinking. And while for a normal man, contact with others is a stimulus to spoken expression and wit, for me it is a counter-stimulus, if this compound word be linguistically permissible. When all by myself, I can think of all kinds of clever remarks, quick comebacks to what no one said, and flashes of witty sociability with nobody. But all of this vanishes when I face someone in the flesh. I lose my intelligence. I can no longer speak. And after half an hour, I just feel tired. Yes, talking to people makes me feel like sleeping. No intelligent idea can gain general acceptance unless some stupidity is mixed in with it. Collective thought is stupid because it's collective. Nothing passes into the realm of the collective without leaving at the border, like a toll, most of the intelligence it contained. In youth, we're twofold. Our innate intelligence, which may be considerable, coexists with the stupidity of our inexperience, which forms a second, lesser intelligence. Only later on do the two unite. That's why youth always blunders, not because of its inexperience, but because of its non-unity. Today, the only course left for the man of superior intelligence is abdication. It sometimes occurs to me, with sad delight, that if one day, in a future to which I won't belong, the sentences I write are read and admired, then at last I'll have my own kin, people who understand me, my true family in which to be born and loved. But far from being born into it, I'll have already died long ago. I'll be understood only in effigy, when affection can no longer compensate for the indifference that was the dead man's lot in life. I am, in large measure, the self-same prose I write. I unroll myself in sentences and paragraphs. I punctuate myself. In my arranging and rearranging of images, I'm like a child using newspaper to dress up as a king. And in the way I create rhythm with a series of words, I'm like a lunatic adorning my hair with dried flowers that are still alive in my dreams. And above all, I'm calm, like a rag doll that has become conscious of itself and occasionally shakes its head to make the tiny bell on top of its pointed cap, component part of the same head, produce a sound. The jingling life of a dead man, a feeble notice to fate. I've always felt an almost physical loathing for secret things. Intrigues, diplomacy, secret societies, occult sciences. What especially irks me are these last two things. The pretension certain men have that, through their understandings with gods or masters or demiurges, they and they alone know the great secrets on which the world is founded. To have touched the feet of Christ is no excuse for mistakes in punctuation. If a man writes well only when he's drunk, then I'll tell him, get drunk. And if he says that it's bad for his liver, I'll answer, what's your liver? The dead thing that lives while you live, whereas the poems you write live without while. I like to think of life as half light, half darkness. I'm not a pessimist. I don't complain about the horror of life. I complain about the horror of my life. The only fact I worry about is that I exist and suffer and can't even dream of being removed from my feeling of suffering. I'd like to live a different life in far-off lands. I'd like to die as someone else among unfamiliar flags. I'd like to be acclaimed emperor in other eras, better today because they're not of today, and we see them as hazy, colorful, enigmatic novelties. I'd like to have all that can make what I am ridiculous, and precisely because it would make what I am ridiculous, I'd like, but there's always the sun when the sun is shining, and the night when the night falls. There's always grief when grief troubles us, and dreams when dreams lull us. There's always what there is, and never what there should be. Not for being better or worse, but for being different. There's always. I'd like to thank y'all so much for being here with me this morning. It's a beautiful morning here on the beach. And this is the first of what I hope to be many videos. And I know I don't have the perfect mic or the perfect setup or everything, but I'm going to keep experimenting and get better and better. And anyway, thank y'all so much for being here. Have a good day.